From Premier Lanes Entertainment Center in Gonzales, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you the LHSAA Bowling Championships. This afternoon, it's the Division II Boys Co-Ed State Championship match between the Patrick Taylor Tigers and the Archbishop Shaw Eagles. And a pleasant good afternoon to you, Ken Trahan of Crescent City Sports, joined by Lenny Van Gilder of Crescent City Sports, and we are pleased to have you with us for yet another year of state championship coverage here on the best site in Louisiana, CrescentCitySports.com, partnering with the LHSAA Network. And a special thanks to Eddie Bonon and the LHSAA for allowing us to bring this to you. And what a match we have in store for you in Division II. In the state championship match, it truly was expected. These have been the two best teams in the state in Division II all season long. Some would argue maybe the two best teams in any class. They're that good. And Lenny, again, not unexpected. And you've got a neighborhood rivalry of sorts from the West Bank of the New Orleans area between the defending champion Archbishop Shaw and Patrick Taylor. These are just two outstanding teams.
Yeah, second year in a row in Division II, we've got West Bank rivals meeting for a state championship. And how did we get here? It was some dominating performances. As you take a look at the bracket, Shaw has just steamrolled their way into this position, while Patrick Taylor as well. This is, you've got the two-time defending champion on one side in Shaw, and you've got the up-and-comer, if you will, in Patrick Taylor, who is really, with the youth on their roster, has maybe positioned himself to be the next great program in Louisiana. But first things first, you got to have a state championship to your credit, and that's what Patrick Taylor is trying to achieve for the first time today against a Shaw team that has obviously been there and done that.
And it's a matchup that's not unfamiliar. They saw each other during the regular season.
They did in the regular season, and it was an intriguing matchup, Ken, actually. The final score would suggest a little bit differently. It was 16-11 Shaw, so it was a very tightly contested match. It was 8-8 after two games, and that's the thing we have a tendency to look at usually. Patrick Taylor got off to a fast start. They led 5-3, led by 96 pins after the first game. Shaw came back, won the second game 5-3, and made up the total. In fact, going into the last game was 8-8, and Shaw led by 1 pin. So basically at that point, it was going to be whoever won total pins the last game was going to win the match, because that was worth 5 points right there. And Shaw stepped up in a big way. 12-48 team series. Cody Barrelou had a 285 in that game.
Practice almost over, so explain the format to everyone so that they understand what it takes to win this match and ultimately a state championship.
Yeah, if you're watching bowling for the first time on a high school level in Louisiana, the magic number is 14. There are 27 points in the match. You need 14 to win. How do you get there? There are 18 individual matches. You're going to see 6 bowlers on either team competing for 3 games. That is 18 points. Then you've got the team points, 2 per game, 3-game match. That's another 6 points. And then what we call the super total, the grand total, is worth the 3 points. And a lot of times, look, it can come down to that. Just like we talked about with this first Shaw-Patrick Taylor meeting, 16-11, it came down to those total pins in the last match to determine who was going, or last game to determine who was going to win the match.
Ready for play here. Setting the lineups as you look at the comparison between the two teams. It's just a good matchup, period. And you look at the respective averages, Lenny, this is pretty close, regardless, isn't it?
It is. Patrick Taylor's unique in what we think is the first time in Louisiana high school bowling history. They have 6 200 average bowlers in their lineup, starting all the way at the top with Zachary Wynn at number 1, and then you got a couple of 205 average bowlers, and Andrew Lee and Logan Wynn 2 and 3. Peyton Ho at 4. Xander Tran, the 8th grader, at number 5, has been outstanding at 216. And then Beckham Lou, the anchor, one of the seniors in the starting lineup, along with Zachary Wynn. He is at 2. He is actually 216 as well. So they've actually got some ability there to make some choices. That's what Brittany Walls has in her pocket in terms of being able to make some lineup choices as she enters the match. For Shaw, pretty much a consistent lineup throughout the year, with the Barrelou brothers kind of leading the way. Brady at number 5, Cody at number 6, just a freshman, Jonathan Klutz at 4, Trip Mueller at 3, Blake Errett at 2, and Antoine Tran at number 1.
We're good to go. And the difference in average between the two teams, it's a 54-pin advantage for starters for Patrick Taylor. We say it all the time. If it's under 40, it's anybody's game. If it's 50 or above, there's an advantage. If it's 80 or above, you're probably not going to win, as we saw yesterday with the girls matchup. And here we go as we are ready to fly with our state championship match, Division II. And ready to roll is Zach Wynn on lane 23 for Patrick Taylor with the first shot of the Division II state championship. Sends it wide, and that's not going to get back. So he gets a very fortuitous 9 count, leaves only the head pin. Antoine Tran on the right lane on 24. Good release. A little bit wide. Different conditions. They bowled on the other side of this bowling center earlier, and all 3 have been wide on their shots so far.
And look, they've had practice. It's not like they're coming in here cold. But
Jonathan Klutz with a washout for Archbishop Shaw. And another wide shot. So, oh, look at this. Tripped the bucket. So a strike in fortuitous fashion for Patrick Taylor right away from Xander Tran. Tran able to collect a strike there.
That should be. That's actually that's Ho at 4. That is Ho at 4. Here comes Tran now.
Here comes Tran.
What a resume this young man has. He just turned 14 years old, Xander Tran. He already has 3 300s and an 800 to his credit.
Unreal. Logan Wynn, stone chin pin. Good shot though. Tran with a beautiful shot. No doubter.
There's a lot of folks from the West Bank here, so you're gonna hear a lot of noise here.
You think? Nice spare. All of the ball. Impressive. Not easy to do. 10 pin on lane 25. Andrew Lee set up on 23. Cody Barrelou on 26. Blows the rack, leaves the 7 pin. Good shot. Win is wide, and again, we've seen a lot of wide shots here in the first frame. Again, indicative of different lane conditions from the lower side of the house. This is the theater side, enclosed. The other side, ball reaction was pretty extreme. Not so much here thus far. Almost a 5-7-10. Oh, wow. 5 pin went out at the last moment. It was a pretty good shot, but that's an indication that the oil is a real factor early on.
Look, understand the sport of bowling. There's, an oil pattern is one thing, but this side of the center does not typically host these types of competitions with outstanding bowlers. It's a lot of parties and that kind of thing that typically go on here. So that does affect the lanes a little bit.
Another wide shot on 25 by Klutz, who's going to have his second open, barring a tremendous split conversion.
And you can imagine.
These shots have been wide. Every one of the misses has been wide. There's a really good shot and a double for Patrick Taylor in the 4 spot.
Peyton Ho is a sophomore, average 210. Like I said, we look at this Patrick Taylor lineup, Ken, from top to bottom. It is senior, 7th grader, junior, sophomore, 8th grader, senior.
Crazy. Nice release here, but that's wide. Again, everything wide that's missing.
Just got to make some adjustments here early on, and I'm sure there's some nerves on all fronts. Yeah,
Tran sends it wide, but he's going to get this roaring back. The speed is the reason there. Didn't have a lot of speed, so the ball turned over a little bit early. There's a perfect shot and a double for Patrick Taylor. That's really well done. Xander Tran. And a strike for Barrelou. And again, when we say Barrelou, we got to clarify.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Cody and Brady. Look, those two have been terrific all year long. Kind of switched around 5 and 6 at one point early in the year, and then Cody kind of stepped on the gas a little bit and finished ahead of Big Brother with a 219 average. So
miss a 1-pin spare. That's center of the lane. Those are the kind you really can't afford to miss in a match of this magnitude. Cody Barrelou's wide again. Everything wide, and he's looking back like a bit surprised by it. But again, ball's going longer early on here than we've seen all day. It's a consistent pattern early on here. That's called rip and roar right there.
Logan
Rip it, man.
And look, that is a 7th grader. Okay, that is a 7th grader who is 12 years old.
That's
Logan
incredible.
Wynn. Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, you and I had picked up a bowling ball by the time we were 12 years old. Nothing like that, okay?
No.
Nothing like that.
No, I got to 160 when I was 14. I thought that was fantastic, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was like second highest average bowler at that time.
Yeah,
of course, that was a different time.
Look, I tell this story often that my senior year of high school, I averaged 175, which was good enough to make the all-city team in New Orleans before we had statewide competition.
Mm-hmm.
We're dinosaurs, okay?
Yep.
175 would not get me into the singles competition tomorrow.
Nope. Nice shot. That would be a triple. What a way to start.
Peyton Ho off to a great start along with Xander Tran on the right pair for Patrick Taylor. Gave it a run there at the 4-7-10.
Did indeed. Backup ball for the square for Klutz. Mueller flushes one. Nice
Much
shot.
better shot. Yep.
Considerably better shot. Nice adjustment. In the 3 spot for Archbishop Shaw. We will not get you margins until we get to about the 5th frame. We say that all the time. It's a bit early to do so.
And look, we need an
Nice
extend a thank you and make a mention here. Still waiting for your printing league standings. You deserve better. Follow your league in real time. Live scoring standings, detailed stats. Download Lane Talk. Start your free trial today. Your league isn't on Lane Talk yet. It should be. Lane Talk. We track. You bowl.
Great ball by Tron. He took out the 7-10 with beautiful roll. And then matching him when smashes 10 in the pit. And speaking of 10, a 10 pin on 25. Another good shot. Bernie Barrelow's high. And now you got a little mini washout, if you will, on 24.
It's the 257. I noticed last week in watching Shaw in the early rounds, they bowled their early round matches at Bolero and Kenner, the Division I bowlers who we'll see shortly after this, bowled their early round matches at All-Star and Baton Rouge. And notice Eric often has a problem. He drops the ball at the line, as you see there.
Completely.
But he gets it. But look, I'm a big believer in this. If you do the same thing every time, you can be fine. Obviously, you do things better, but it's if you're doing the same thing, if you're consistent in whatever it is that you do, that's a good thing.
Cody Barrelow's a bit wide again. He hasn't been able to make an adjustment yet. He's been wide consistently. And again, that's been a pattern, as we mentioned early on. We'll start to see better ball reaction soon, but there's another one wide for Mueller. Right now, Shaw struggling to get the ball to the 1-3 from the right side. And, of course, a lot of two-handed bowlers that we're watching right now.
A lot, yeah. Now, the two Barrelows are both one-handed.
Cody spears it up.
But it's 6 two-handers for Patrick Taylor in their starting lineup. A couple of lefties, 4 righties.
A little bit wide here. So, again, as mentioned, the misses have all been wide. Nothing high. There's a good shot, but a 4-pin for Klutz.
Yeah, that was a little high there, but that's the natural. But that's natural adjustment too. Mm-hmm. After you start, you got to, like you say, when you're missing, you want to either A, move your target, B, move your feet, maybe both.
Tough spare miss there. When you get double wood, always the possibility of the sleeper remaining, and that was the case just now. So definitely an early advantage for Patrick Taylor in this early going. Miss spare here by Ho. Ten pins, soft 10, good shot nonetheless. Stops the string of 3 in a row. Payton. Conversion for Klutz. Zach Wynn kept it in the track. Nice shot. Great shot.
Well, you were mentioning while we were watching the semifinals, Zach Wynn. If there is a better number 1 bowler in high school bowling in Louisiana, we haven't seen it.
I haven't.
Great game, and again, we talked about it. They've got 6 200 averages in their lineup. To our knowledge, that has never been done in the history of high school bowling in this state.
Good strike delivered there by Brady Barrelow. And now Cody has to see if he can make an adjustment, get the ball at a 1-3. Beautiful shot here. That's 4 in a row, folks. 4 in a row for a Mr. McCann. And a double here from you-know-who. number one bowler that we just spoke of. There's a nice adjustment by Cody Barlow as he stuffs one. Now Beckham. Blew the route.
Great shot.
Garrett misses a spare, so as mentioned, good start for Patrick Taylor. We'll get you set with numbers when we get to the fifth frame here. On your screen, you can see the scores on the respective lanes. Oh, he got the trip. Breathes a little sigh of relief.
And as you see those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next to the school names. 1 is the lowest average bowler in the lineup. 6 is the highest average bowler in the lineup. If, as we were mentioning in the format, coaches don't really get to pick their lineup. They get to pick the 6 bowlers, but the lineup is set based on season averages. The only time you've got any kind of choice is if you have 2 bowlers with the same average.
They know after a tap in the fourth, comes back with a strike. He struck 4 out of 5 frames off to a great start for Patrick Taylor. Clutch is wide, washout.
Tran flushes one. Yeah, great shot by Tran right there for a turkey at number 1. It's a good match going right there at number 1 between the two-handed lefties, Tran and Wynn.
Here is Zach Wynn, the aforementioned 8th grader, on lane 23. Oh, and he just blows the rack. Nothing bothers him. Just look at his demeanor. Clutch unable to convert, so the margin definitely widening for Patrick Taylor early on in game 1.
They've got a 100-pin edge right now on the right-hand pair.
Yeah, it's pretty substantial. There's still half a game to go, but the Eagles are going to have to turn on the gas here.
Well, again, keep in mind, too, what we mentioned. When these teams met the first time, Patrick Taylor had a 90-pin lead after the first game.
Brady Barlow stuffed the 10-pin. Really good shot. Trying to get something going. They need a few doubles here, do the Eagles, to really get themselves into this game.
Wu missing the 2-4, missing it left. That's unusual. Anything, a lot of times you might see him like get caught in the oil, but he tried to shoot it on the left side and just hooked it past it.
Barlow spares, and there's a kick-out double. So at the 5-pin off the wall. Good break there.
So as Cody Barlow comes up, let's take you back to last week. And a terrific performance by that young man. Let's watch his shot. You see it now. Got up in the 10th frame and threw 3 consecutive strikes to complete a 300 game. As Shaw set a state record with a 41-17 series in their first round match over St. Michael. And as you continue to see, we'll finish this out here. The final shot. It's, you know, not only did Cody shoot 300, okay, but Brady was bowling right in front of him and shot 279, had the front 9. You very nearly had 2 brothers back-to-back shooting 300.
Pretty impressive. Here we go. Unbelievable. Great stuff. Special. And we've got one brewing here for Patrick Taylor with 5 in a row to start this game.
Have we seen a 300 already today? We'll talk a little more about that later.
We will a little bit later on, but we do know the combatants for Division I. We can tell you that right now. It's defending champion Brother Martin and Archbishop Brummel, 2 longtime rivals.
Yeah. The first time we did a state championship match, all the way back in 2019. That seems like an eternity ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
In Baton Rouge, and it was Brother Martin against Rummel. That was a Rummel team that you don't want to call them a Cinderella, but you know they were a number 21 seed that year. And as we've learned, look, seeds don't mean everything.
They don't mean anything.
But again, they overbowled. Yeah, they overbowled their averages that year. And I mean, they took out some very good teams that were the number 1, 4, and 5 seeds to get to the finals. Yeah.
Zach Wynn with a very tough cover. This is the only way to cover it right here. Ooh, good shot. Nearly did.
Yeah, that 3-6-7-9. You want to get the 3 and the 6 with the ball, and ideally the 3 goes and takes out the 7, and the 6 takes out the 9.
All right, here's Xander Tron going for 6 in a row on 26. Sets it down wide, brings it back, and nails it. Halfway there. Xander Tron off to a fantastic start. So are the Tigers, who right now are in control early on here.
Good shot by Logan Wynn there.
Logan Wynn delivers as well. So as we study the scoreboard right now, give you some perspective. It's Patrick Taylor up in match number 1. Patrick Taylor in match number 2 is
Shaw's got the lead at 3. Yeah.
Shaw's got the lead at 3. Patrick Taylor at 4. Patrick Taylor at 5. And Shaw at 6. So Patrick Taylor up in 4 matches. Shaw 2, but Patrick Taylor with a demonstrative pin lead at the moment.
It's 49 on a left pair. It's 114 on a right pair. So right now, the match they have 160 pin lead. That's a big number.
It's a huge number. The Eagles need to string some strikes. Barrelau and Mueller.
Up. He's Ronald Muller the third. Okay,
Muller gets
because he's the third. They call him Trip, and that was a Trip 2 pin right there.
Ronald Muller, yeah, that's right. So he gets the first triple of the game for the Eagles. There's a missed spare, so a little bit of a swing there.
Just kind of stretching that lead from Muller at number 3.
Barrelau spares it up. The Barrelau brothers have not been able to string any strikes yet. They've had one double, but nothing really brewing substantially, and they need to get them going at 5 and 6. Those are your 2 best bowlers that bowl in the 5 and 6 positions. The highest average is the last one in the numbers game. And there's a shaker that goes down. 6-pin, backup ball, strike for Klutz. Now look at the revolutions Wynn generates to get a wall strike.
Now look, that's obviously this two-handed revolution. You can credit a lot of that to Jason Belmonte and his popularity on the PBA Tour.
Oh, is a little bit wide. So slight opening for the Eagles here. Let's see if Brady Barrelau can break through. Leaves a 7-pin. Made a good shot, though. As Patrick Taylor slows down a little bit. Can the Eagles jump on it?
But it's amazing, though, just the number of youth bowlers now who are two-handed bowlers. As a result of that, you're seeing really the full effect of Belmo's popularity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Nice shot. Just didn't get the cover.
Ho slid the 2 in front of the 10. You don't see that very often.
You don't. Eric can't convert the 10. Barrelau converts the 7. And Shaw's yet to make a run in this game. And Patrick Taylor's advantage remains pretty solid.
Attention now on lane 25 is Xander Tran back up, looking for 7 in a row.
This is just trying to get past the halfway mark. Sends it. Gets it. 7 straight for Xander Tran.
What were you doing in
Muller
8th grade?
Looking for 4. Is high and splits. What was I doing in 8th grade?
Yeah, not stringing 7 in a row, I'm sure.
I had a 200 game by that point.
All right.
Which back in those days was pretty big at that age. I shot my first one when I was 13. So 200 game. And back to your point about high school, just to show you how the times have changed, I was like top 15. I think I was like 12th in average my senior year, and I averaged 178. So, and we thought that was really good. And Steve DeMack Jr., Dean Corte Jr., and Paul Hebert all were like 195 to 203 average bowls, which was incredible.
No doubt.
Larry Kirsten was another from East Jefferson.
Yep.
And Gary Fitzgerald from East Jefferson. They were both way up there as well. And, of course, I ended up bowling with quite a few of those guys. It's the nature of the sport. Everybody kind of knows everybody. That's been around it for a while.
One of the stories we were telling yesterday, just, not just, these, the young ladies we saw yesterday, young men we're seeing here today, a lot of these guys from the New Orleans area. We talked about, Betty Chen and what she's done for so many of these bowlers working with them, and works with a lot of these, even though these kids are all West Bank residents.
7-10 in the pocket.
Tough break.
Yeah,
even though these kids are all West Bank
well.
residents.
Things not going well for the Eagles right now. Go ahead.
No, but they come across on Friday afternoons as another strike. It's time for Ho. Come across on Friday afternoons for an open practice session, get a chance to work with Miss Betty, and just fine-tune their games. That's true of the kids we're going to see in the next match, too, Brother Martin and Rummel. All right,
Going
lane
for number 8.
26.
Xander Tran on lane 26, searching for 8 in a row to start a state championship match. He got it, tripped the bucket. I got news for you. When you get one of those in the midst of one of these, that gives you a real shot at it.
No doubt.
It's hard to make 12 great shots. That wasn't a great shot.
Right.
Not even a really good shot, but got the break in. That happens sometimes. The first 300 game I bowled, I had a Brooklyn strike in the 11th frame. And in the 12th frame was a perfect shot. But that's because I got the lucky break.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, what a shot
It's
that
been
was.
It's been a tough go thus far for Beckham Lou, the senior. Brady Barrow just getting back on it there with a strike. He's had a tough go himself. A lot of these guys, look, there's some struggle out there right now. You got, for every, for every strike we're seeing out of Tram, we're seeing some tough shots out of some other guys as well. And
well, based on what I'm seeing, the condition on this side is more difficult than what we saw on the lower side of the house.
No question about it.
And I don't think we'll see the scores over here that we saw over there, although we got one exception here for sure.
Right, no doubt.
Andrew Lee for Patrick Taylor on lane 24. Looking for a double. And got it. So Patrick Taylor, right now in control of this game, certainly looking like at least a 6-point game for them.
It's a slight lead at 1, a commanding lead at 2. Shaw's still up at 3. Patrick Taylor a huge lead at 4 and 5, and Shaw with a slight lead at 6. So if it ended right now, it'd be a 6-2 game. Right. Just look, that number 1 spot is still in the balance. Certainly.
Yeah,
it's a 3-pin match.
1 and 6 are important here, especially for Shaw.
You got to find a way if you're Shaw. You'd like to get out of this 5-3.
Left the 7-pin, good reaction. Just a little bit behind the 1-pin, so to speak, for
I think we got an issue with a rack here. I think they're looking at, I don't know if they're looking at a re-rack perhaps or exactly what's going on, but the house officials coming over, calling to the back and make sure. Oh, I see what's that. There's a piece of deadwood in there, absolutely. And that's one of those things. If you, rules of bowling, if you hit deadwood with your ball, it's 0 for the frame.
Correct.
So you definitely want to get it out of there.
Nice spare, made it look easy. That's an 8th grader. I'll say it again.
Yeah. Well, that's the senior there. Here
that's
comes
the senior.
here comes the 8th grader.
Here comes the 8th grader, Logan Wynn. Tran. Solid 7-pin. Well delivered.
So if he converts
that kind
here,
of game for the Eagles,
he's going to convert here. It's going to stay a 3-pin game.
Correct. Needed that one to take the lead in one of the real matches that Shaw needs here. Beautiful shot here. So impressive.
Again, you're looking at a lineup from top to bottom with Patrick Taylor. 202, 205, 205, 210, 216, 216.
It's really best in the state in any class. Nobody has a lineup that deep.
In terms of the depth. Now, the total average, Brother Martin is slightly higher. And these two, speaking of Brother Martin and Patrick Taylor, bowled a great regular season match at Colonial.
Nice conversion by Klutz of a washout.
Yeah. And what's interesting, he was throwing a backup ball for the washout, turned around and threw a conventional to make the spare. But it was a terrific match. Both teams shooting over 3,700. Again, 3,600 if you think about it as maybe par. A 200 average. Another 5-10 leave this time for Aaron on lane 24.
What you've got is, as you mentioned earlier, Aaron bounces it.
Kind of
kills the roll late. So when he gets to light 1-3 pocket, he's not going to get the ball driving through. Right. So thus you leave a hit like this. And for him, it's got to be location.
No doubt.
Maryland leaves a 9-pin, and they just haven't gotten anything going, Shaw, in any spot except for the 3 spot where they had a few strikes, but then an open frame.
Right.
They just haven't gotten anything going, and the condition's tougher, and they haven't been able to score.
And look,
here we go on lane 25 for 9 in a row.
Right.
And a tickle of the 1-3 in between a bucket and a wall shot.
Yeah.
And what a great start for Tran. He's going to end up with a huge game. But the margin's going to be huge here for Patrick Taylor in terms of total pins.
The question at this point is, what is the score? Are we talking 5-3?
Right.
Are we talking 6-2? Are we
6-2.
talking 7-1? Maybe even
Right.
8-0? Because the Shaw leads are all very
Tenuous.
tenuous. Yes.
Yeah. In fact, Muller needs a spare here. Barlow leaves a 10-pin, so his lead won't grow. And then Muller missed the spare. So now Patrick Taylor takes the lead at 3. Now you're looking at 7 wins possibly.
This is what is you look on the left pair, Ken. Shaw has 4 spares, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 open frames.
Yeah.
Spare shooting is critical at this level.
Barlow makes the spare to maintain his lead of 9 pins, and that's an absolute must-win for Shaw now in the 6th position.
Blue giving himself a chance there, making the 10-pin. He can get up to the 10th with a chance, and that's a huge
That's a
strike.
big strike there.
Tran now
Has a chance with a double to win this match.
Right.
At first, Zach Wynn has to cover. Sending it cross lane, a lot of room, and he'll make it.
The count matters here, too.
It does.
So, yeah, even if Tran doesn't strike here, Tran's going to go first.
He is.
So he's got a chance
try to
shut
post
him
the
out.
win right here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Shut him out with a strike, but even if he doesn't, then Wynn would still
needs
need
like
9.
count. Here we go. For a win. Needs a strike. Made a perfect shot.
Great shot.
That's a big shot for Shaw. They needed that badly. And that's going to be a win for the Eagles, barring any disaster. It looks like he might switch balls.
Well, it's a good. If you want to try something, if you've got it in hand here, now obviously
Well,
you don't want to
he
throw
doesn't
it in
have
the
it in
gutter.
hand
You
now,
got to
exactly.
keep it on the lane here.
Unless he throws 7 here.
Right.
Zach Wynn. I mean, I don't know that I'd switch balls here, frankly.
All right. Wynn is going to make him keep it on the lane.
Keep it on the lane.
He needs 3, yeah.
And he switched balls. Keep that in mind. No 2 balls feel exactly the same. I can tell you that from experience.
And Gerald Vidros, assistant coach for Shaw, is going over and talking to Antoine about that very thing.
All right, he kept it on the lane.
Yep.
And he got the strike. So a great finish.
Right. That's a terrific finish there.
A 2:08 game.
And that was big. Shaw needed to get that point. Now they've still got a chance at 2 others. 3 is tight, 6 is tight. Patrick Taylor in command at 2, 4, and 5 right now.
Beautiful shot there. A 2:03 game. Logan Wynn trying to finish off a very good game. He is high. Spare it up for 2:06. Meanwhile, Xandertron through the nose.
Oh, 4-6.
And a missed 5-pin. Wow. It's hard to survive a very low, below average game, and that's what you've got here for the Eagles.
Barrelou with a double. And look, the thing to remember in this, even if you're out of your match individually, total pins do matter.
Oh, they
Total
matter.
pins, the 2 points for total pins going to Patrick Taylor here, but you got to think about that super total as well.
Well, you got one bowler shooting 69 pins under average.
Right.
That hurts. That's very hard to overcome. Nice shot here in the 7-pin. So Brady Barlow finding it in the 10th frame, which will be important moving forward. 2:55. Great game. Bowled in the 5 spot by Tran.
But you look at what Patrick Taylor did in the 3 matches that they've won. They've won by 91. They've
Big.
won by 72. And even if Barrelou strikes here, it's going to be 63.
Now Brady Barlow has to strike.
Well,
Or he's got at least marked, but he might have to strike. Sends it wide. And guess what?
The 210, but he finishes at 190. Now,
No, he finishes 190.
And
So
now
here's
Cody,
Barlow. This is the one that they need.
now
You're going to let Beckham shoot first
Right,
here.
yeah.
So if Beckham strikes here,
chance. If he strikes out, then he makes Cody Barrow look dumb.
Makes him double. Big shot here. And he got a Brooklyn strike for a double. Wow. That is huge.
Yeah, Lee with a conversion.
Now
over
Barlow needs this. And he got it. All right. Now pin count means everything. It's a 1 pin difference in pin count in favor of Patrick Taylor. Beckham Lou back up. Lets it go. And strikes. So that means Cody
Gotta have
Barlow
this one.
has to strike.
Right here. Here you go, Wayne. 25. This is for a point.
Got it. That's a big pressure shot. That's going to get Shaw 2 points out of this game. He just needs to keep it on the lane. Needs a 2 count here. Trying to take it off the sheet here. And triple 4 pin. And Cody Barlow comes through with a 180 game and gets Shaw a second point out of this, which they desperately needed.
So Shaw, that's 969. That's very unusual for them. Patrick Taylor comes up with 1191. So they've got a 222 pin lead in total with a 6-2 lead in this match.
So a massive lead here in total pins for Patrick Taylor. And today's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute. Get the same sports medicine care that the pros receive with minimally invasive treatments and quicker recovery times. Visit ochsner.org/sportsmed to learn more or schedule an appointment near you. Patrick Taylor, 6-2 lead, 222 pin advantage. And this was more about Shaw bowling well under its average.
Yeah,
Patrick Taylor bowled about average, close to average. Close to average, not quite. They were a little lower than their average.
Exactly. That's the thing. They had, 156 at number 3, 171 at number 6. So it's, certainly some spots that they could pick it up, but they did have 4 200 games.
They did. And I'll say it again, this is a much more difficult pattern on this side of the bowling center than on the other side. For whatever reason, the ball reaction is simply not the same. And this Shaw team didn't look anything like it looked earlier today, and they're going to have to change that fortune soon. The Barlow brothers came through late.
And maybe they figured some things out.
Yeah.
And again, look, remember, this was a 5-3 match after one in the regular season, and Patrick Taylor had nearly a 100-pin lead. Now, 200's a totally different story, okay? But you've got 12 games to try to make that up. And you can win without winning the super total. It's rare, but it's certainly been done before. You think about it. If Shaw wins 2 6-2 games, for instance, okay, that's 14 points. They've got 2 right now.
Waiting for scoreboard to be cleared and for us to start game 2. Still to come, Division 1 final a bit later on, right after this one. So that will feature defending champion Brother Martin and Archbishop Rummel. And we'll set the table for that one before it starts. So ready to clear the screens and get set for the start of game 2.
We'll see one lineup change here for Patrick Taylor. We're going to see Logan Connect's going to go in the 1 spot here. Patrick Taylor's got 7 qualifiers for the singles championship tomorrow.
Connect's a right-hander. He's up the boards, and he's starting right away. Right up the boards, and I think, honestly, on this side of the house, I think up the boards is really an advantageous approach, frankly. Antoine Tron. He strikes. Tron is up with a strike. A good start for the Eagles, which they need desperately here. Connect cross lane. No problem. Errant with a washout. Klutz kicks out the 10-pin. Klutz has gone conventional, and he strikes here, slaps out the 10. Nicely done. Missed 10-pin there. And a trip 6-pin.
Why not?
Well, you're left-handed, so you love that.
Hey.
Anytime you see the lefty trip the 6-pin, yeah. Lenny's loving it. That's kind of like us with the 4-pin, but same deal. Different side. McElroy and Scheffler off to great starts at the Masters. What a surprise.
No.
And Sam Burns of LSU
How
is
about,
tied for first.
How about Sam Burns?
There you go, Sam.
In the clubhouse already, I believe.
He's gotten it done. Shot a 67. Beautiful shot. Another good strike for Patrick Taylor. So the Tigers come roaring out of the box. Eagles must match early on. They cannot fall behind.
No question.
Much in this game. Beautiful shot by
This is
Muller. And then another strike for Barrelos. So the Barrelos are starting to find it. And they're really more up the boards. One-handers, you would think they would have a better opportunity here on this condition.
And look, it's all about finding the line with the right position on the lanes, right target, right equipment.
Cody is wide, though. Back to where he was early in the match. Beautiful shot by Logan Cannett. I think his game's going to play well on this condition.
No doubt.
What I mean by that is simple. You don't have as much room to play with. You don't have as many boards. And that's a good swing shot that actually paid off with a wall strike. But we saw a ton of reaction on the lower side of the house earlier in all the matches. We're not seeing that here. Now, maybe it changes, but they're going to oil the lanes between the two championships.
Right, and look, and that's one thing to consider here. This was fresh oil that had sat. Here's what's going to happen in the second match. They're going to oil, and they're going to go straight into practice balls. In a perfect world, you want oil to be able to sit on the lanes for, a half hour or so, and that's not going to be the case.
Crossed over and got a break. And it's going well. It's going well. And again, Klutz has gone conventional, and he's got a double. That's interesting, Lenny, for a guy that can throw back up or throw conventional, that he's made the switch here.
And you're seeing more and more of that in the sport. Anthony Simonson does it. He does it very well, okay? So you've seen guys that are professional. I was talking earlier, left-handers had a big advantage at the U.S. Open a few weeks ago. And you had a number of right-handers that went to a backup ball to basically try to turn themselves into a left-hander.
Because of the condition. If you have that skill in your bag, pretty tough to do. Nice strike from Barrelos.
Sorry, it was the Masters. It was one of those USBC events. It was the Masters, not the U.S. Open. But the point being the same. That's a way. Look, if the left-handers have an advantage on the lane, if that lane's playing, that side of the lane's playing better, go to a backup ball.
Both bowlers in the 5 position have doubled to start the game. Eagles with a couple of doubles on the high pair. Let's see if Cody Barrelos can get it going here. Tugged that ball. Got away with a 9 count.
That very nearly crossed over for a strike.
Here's Cannett up the boards, but he left it wide. Again, you're not going to get away missing 2 boards on this condition.
No.
You can get away 1 board and have a chance, but earlier that was not the case on the opposite side. You had a little bit more room.
Tran went a little wide there, left the 5-9. He's been solid.
1 pin spare. That is not the way to do it. There's a great cover by Cannett. Logan celebrates with teammates. Patrick Taylor Science and Technology, tremendous academic institution.
No doubt.
On the West Bank of New Orleans. Bearing the name of a great academician who aided education in this state for so many years.
And a lot of their student athletes are great students, including Beckham Lou in the anchor spot, the senior, who's a National Merit finalist.
Zach Wynn through the nose. Ugly lead. There's the ultimate ringing 10.
Wow.
That's the definition of a ringing 10 on lane 26.
Yeah, great shot by Ho, but nothing to show for it.
See Klutzy's off to a double here, bowling in conventional fashion. Oh, he trips the 4-pin. He's excited. There's the kind of start that the Eagles need in game 2. Trailing by 222 pins and a 6-2 margin. Another missed spare.
No,
it's been a real struggle for Era.
Well, and for that matter, you know, collectively, this team just shooting spares it's been a problem today. You see it. You know, we talked about it on the left-hand pair, but it's really feast or famine. It's a lot of strikes or opens we've seen thus far for Shaw in this game. 9 strikes, 2 spares, and 4 opens. None of those are splits, from what I can tell.
Nearly crossed the line and stuck at the line.
Well, Wynn is fast to the line. We were talking about that during the semifinals.
Right.
He takes a little time up there, and he gets up there, and it is very fast.
Muller looking for a 3-bagger. 10-pin. And a 9-pin. Tough lead there for Barrelou.
Look, that's one thing. It's one thing to make spares. Another thing to not get hits that are good shots. And some unfortunate breaks here.
There's a trip on a high. I mean, you get the one bad break on one lane, the good break on the other, and that can separate winners from losers. And so far, that's the case in this one. What was that?
They were trying to throw a backup ball at the spare, and it's a bad shot.
Man, that just.
Look, I don't have a problem with doing that if you do it all the time.
Oh, if you do it all the time, and it's a skill that you have, absolutely. But if you try it and it's not something that you do with regularity or do very well, it's not really a good idea. Nice shot here. Cody Barrelou delivers. Connect with a tough 5 count. Bucket plus the 7-pin. That's a very difficult spare. There are certain spares that I've had to shoot in my life that I'm like, when I had nightmares thinking about them. I can name a couple of them, but that would be one right there.
It's the bucket, and then the 3, 6, 9, 10, or the 2, 4, 7, 8 for a left-hander. Basically, if you go through the face of the head pin, and and you've got that sleeper in there. That you ask the pros, that is the toughest non-split to convert.
Beautiful shot by Peyton Hogue. He's excited, so are his teammates. Antoine Tran. Wow, that's a very difficult spare to leave. Not just a pin count, but there's 4 in a row for Klutz.
On a spare, too.
There's a trip for Wynn. Klutz is probably saying, why didn't I start off this way? Trying this approach.
131 in game 1, and now he starts the second game with 4 in a row.
Beautiful shot by Vander Tran. He's got 4 in a row to start this game.
Antoine Tran gave that a run right there, but couldn't get the hit. He hit the 2-pin. That was in position to slide over and try to take out the 6-10, but instead he will get 7 out. That's a big loss of pin count right there.
Brady Barrelou gets the love tap on the 10-pin for a strike. Wash out here. Again, you're not going to get quite the reaction. I'll say it again. Beautiful shot. That's a double. You can see the frustration in Aaron. It's just been a rough afternoon. And you feel for the young man. You want to see him succeed. There's a trip double for Barrelou. And a nice cover for Patrick Taylor.
Yeah, Logan Wynn sliding the 2-pin over to get the 10. And Eric probably needed that in a big way, just to fill a box right there. It's been a rough go of it. We've all faced it.
Oh man!
Whether it's whatever your sport is. Okay.
Well, it's a team sport. It really hurts because you feel like you're letting people down when you don't perform at your prescribed level. Muller trips the 4. Peyton Ho. Smash for a double. Patrick Taylor not letting up on the high pair. But Shaw's bowling well on a high pair as well. At least early on this game as we get to frame number 5 where we'll set the stage for it. Here's Clutch, 4 for 5 in a row. A little bit wide. Based on what I've seen, nice shot by Trent. The revolution bowlers, the two-handers that get the revolutions, nice shot here, are best off keeping it in the oil on this pattern. And of course, the guys that are more conventional are straight up and should be, unless things change. That seems to be the prescription on this condition right now. Here's a gutter ball. My goodness.
Yeah. The pattern is it's 42 feet long. Okay, that's an average length for an oil pattern.
Another double for Patrick Taylor.
It's 3 in a row actually. So it's
just 3 doubles in a row, including the one in the second hole that has them all. Brady Barlow with a double.
He's just trying to maintain contact. He's drawn the short straw today of going head-to-head with Xander Tran, who has been on fire.
Barrett can't convert. So we'll set the stage here at the end of this frame. Zach Wynn.
Wow,
10-pin
that's a
won't
tough
go.
break right there. That was coming in. That from the looks of it.
Cody Barlow slaps out the 10. He's got a 3-bagger.
When you come in that sharp an angle, which you call behind the head pin a little bit, typically the corner pins are going to stay up, like the 10-pin for the right-hander, the 7-pin for the left-hander. He got the 7 out, but couldn't get the 10 out.
So through 5 frames here, just about complete. On the high pair, it is Shaw up at 1, Patrick Taylor up at 2, and Patrick Taylor up at 3. On the low pair, Shaw's up at 1, Patrick Taylor's up at 2, and waiting for 3 to unveil itself momentarily.
Patrick Taylor's got the lead.
Taylor's up at 3, so they're up in 4 out of 6 are the Tigers so far, halfway through. Peyton Ho almost stripped the bucket, but leaves the 8-pin, not the tap 8, or the stone 8, or just the 8. Wow. Got the 10 out, left the 7. Clutch leaves a 5.
So as we head into the second half of game 2, here's what you got to think about, Ken. Where are we headed score-wise here? If you're Shaw, you've got to be able to be in contact. I mean, total pins are starting to creep away at
Realistically,
this point.
you got to be within 150 to have any shot.
Right. If you can find a way to come back and win total in this game. If not, then you've got to, if total pins remain out there, then you've got to be in a 10-6 game. Because now you could sweep the last game to win and not win.
Yeah. Won't matter.
Yeah. And as you look at it right now, Patrick Taylor has about a 40-pin edge or so in total pins in this game, and they're already up over 200 after the first game.
Correct. If they get to 11 points after this game with the total pins, it's going to be nearly impossible.
Right. If you've got
Archbishop Shaw.
Yeah. Crazier things have happened, but
Antoine Tran. Beautiful shot.
I'd say, Tran has, from the 1 spot, has arguably been Shaw's best bowler here this afternoon in this second match. Yeah, this is a Shaw team. Look, they've had a lot, I guess, on their plate to deal with, if you will. I mean, this is a team that, since we had the formation of 2 divisions on the boys co-ed side, a crossover for Zach Wynn. That was 2 years ago. Shaw has gone 16-0, 16-0. So they took a 32-match winning streak into this season. Won their first 9 matches. got to the last week of the regular season. They tied Belchase. There's not been a regular season tie in high school bowling in 4 years in Louisiana, and they tied Belchase. It was a very dramatic match. It was a rematch of the state championship a year ago, 13.5, 13.5. And then 3 days later, they lost to a very good Destrehan team that made the Division I playoffs at Westside. So they went in not winning either of their final 2 regular season matches after not losing for 3 years. And you'd think, like, the way they came out in the playoffs, shooting 41-17 in the first round against St. Michael, okay, they've righted the ship now. This is, Shaw is back on course. Yeah, and look, and here they are in the finals, but still, this is obviously the toughest test they have had to face in the postseason and maybe the entire season.
Miss spare there. And a wall shot. Another strike for Patrick Taylor by Ho.
He was going to go with that backup ball at the 10-pin, and this time he's got it. That match just got interesting at number 3 with the open. Now it's down to a 6-pin game there at number 3. And again, Shaw's got to get everything they can get right here in terms of points to maintain contact. You want to be at minimum down 10-6.
Connect strikes. Xander Tran. Ooh, he tripped out the 4-7 to avoid a big split, and he maintains his solid lead in the process at number 5. Antoine Tran strikes. And Klutz missed a spare, which tightens that matchup.
Down to 18
pins, but a strike up for Patrick Taylor.
Yep, was 29.
Too many missed spares, Lenny.
No question about it. Yeah. I don't care who the coach is, whatever team, they will all tell you that spare shooting is at a premium.
You got to feel good for Blake Harris. Just do a strike. It's been a rough go, and happy to see that. Stone 10-pin for Brady Barrelow. Just kind of shakes his head. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Make a good shot. All you can do.
Beckham Lou looking for 5 in a row now on 26.
And he's got a perfect shot.
That's a great match
up
going
22
at 6
now. He's up 22 as a result. Bucket shot here.
Muller with a tough spare conversion there. He throws the backup ball with the 10-pin. I don't think he's going to throw a backup ball with this. You just got to move your feet a couple of boards off your strike, target to the right, and it's like a small rack of pins over there.
Cody Barrelow looking for 5 in a row on lane 25.
He's got to maintain contact that match.
Can't do it. That's now down by 24 in that match. Nice cover by Muller. Keeps him 10 down in his match.
Like you said, that is a very tough conversion. If you go too light, you're going to wrap the 2-pin around the 4-8 and leave 2. If you get too high, you're going to chop, and leave the 5-pin standing. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. Pretty good match going at 1 as well. Connect had a double going and left at 2-5. Now Tran for 4 in a row.
Nice release.
Wow.
As soon as he let it go, boy, just a really good release. Antoine Tran.
Again, look, that is normally a good sign when you're getting solid performances out of your number 1 spot. But the problem is the rest of the lineup hasn't been able to match.
Bowling well enough at 5 and 6, but Patrick Taylor's bowling great at 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well enough's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, Shaw's got 3 200 games working right now. A 216, a 206, a 216 pace on the right side. Mm-hmm. But
doesn't matter.
Down, no,
they're down on every one.
Yeah, they're down about 60 pins total on that side.
That's right. Klutz, nope, double wood.
Win. Oh, Zach Wynn nearly left the 6-8.
Saw that.
8 fell late. It's a big shot for Muller right here. It's a tight match, just 10 pins. He's got a chance to. You want to maintain contact to give yourself a chance here to get up in the 10th frame. Both pairs on the 8th frame right now.
Wall shot, left to 7. Good shot. No carry.
Transmit. Outstanding. The best bowler in this match. I won't say by far, but certainly it's a demonstrative margin.
Klutz cannot cover, so he falls behind.
Patrick Taylor just took the lead at 4 in the process.
That's what I said. Yeah. Big difference. Can't afford to lose another match, much less pins. Knocked that one through, and today's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. Check their website at gnousbc.org or their Facebook page for the latest information. Come out, support your local association, and have fun doing it.
Our thanks to Greater New Orleans USBC. Has been a long-time sponsor of our bowling coverage on Crescent City Sports, and we are certainly thrilled to have the opportunity to broadcast the bowling championships for the 7th consecutive time now, going back to 2019. Another strike for Beckham Loose, 6 in a row.
Bowling fantastic. Barlow can't get the shaker 4. So Patrick Taylor's advantage is solid, and it's getting to be a difficult time for the Eagles now. Wide, Connett, bucket shot. Antoine Tran looking for 5 in a row. Good release. But boy, that ball really took off. He doesn't have as much speed as some of those that use 2 hands. The ball's really going to open up on the back end, and it did there. Still got the lead in his match. Fairly comfortable fashion at number 1. The pins are a big issue for Shaw. Good shot by Klutz.
Yep. Needed
Keeps
that
him
one in a big way. Yep. Gives him a
Down by
chance
3.
going into the 10th.
Connett covers. Unconventional fashion. Tough spare for Tran here. Made it look easy. Nicely done. Maintain his solid advantage. Peyton Ho on lane 26. Crosses over. Doesn't carry. So that becomes very interesting. That's an 8 count, so 1 pin. There's the margin there if he covers the spare. Peyton Ho would maintain a 1-pin lead with 1 frame to go.
Big break for Brady Barrow there. The 4 went into the 9
Sure
for
did.
a double, and that makes that a 20-pin
20-pin match. Still in it because he's got the strikes up. And there's the spare. So it's a 1-pin match at number 4 as Ho covers. Cody Barlow. 10 in the pit. Bowling a good game. His counterpart just off the charts.
Xander Tran shot.
Blew the rack. So impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. Xander Tran through the face, 3-6-9-10. Remember we talked about that's the hardest spare to make.
It is.
And this is huge right here because
Sure
if he
is.
doesn't convert, this is under 10 pins.
Correct.
And Brady Barrow would
Has the
suddenly
strike in his hand,
could strike out. Yeah, he's got a double in hand and would be in position to close it out in the 10th frame because of that strike in hand.
Otto Muller. Dead solid 1-3.
Yep. Trying to stay in contact here. He's got a possible 2-10.
What a great cover that was.
Needed that in a big way. So that is a 16-pin lead, but still, because Brady Barrow is on a strike, he's still got a chance there.
Such an impressive cover.
A chance for all 200s on the right pair.
Beckham Lou looking for 7 in a row.
Right there.
Oh, my.
10 in the pit.
Making it look easy. Connett blows the rack, leads to 7.
Wow.
Antoine Tran bowled a really good game. He's up here. He's in the oil. Nice shot. Yeah. He made a nice adjustment. Moved in. Remember I talked about the overreaction? Made a really nice adjustment. Let the oil do its work. And if you've got enough Revolution, you're going to get the ball there.
Big shot for Ho. It's a one-pin match at one, but here's a big shot because Klutz is on a strike, got a chance to take the lead.
Take the lead right here. Has to strike, though. Especially with a strike up for Ho. He won't lose pin count. Klutz sends it.
That's
He's way wide.
That's
going to do him in all likelihood.
Yeah, really going to have to convert and strike and hope that Ho does not spare at least.
Tran leads to 7-10.
Wow.
Hello.
He's going to win his match at one, though. He's done his job in the leadoff spot. He's going to be 2 for 2.
Mm-hmm. Another double. Puts that match away at 1. Clutch bowling by Peyton Ho. $187 for Connett. $216 game for Tran. Put together a nice set. 424 for 2 games. Tripped everything. That's when it's going well. Trip the bucket. Brady Barlow with a strike, so he's tripled. Making that interesting at number 5. Now Xander Tran. Xander Tran can double here and put it away. If he throws 2. This is the first one.
Yes, certainly needs this one.
Good looking shot. Oh, wow. So now, here we go. 1 shot for a win. 1 shot for a win for Barlow. He strikes here, he wins. He doesn't strike, Tran can make the spare and win. So here's the swing right here on 26, Barlow. And he tugged it. So he's going to
still got to now. Tran's still got to make the spare.
Cross lane for the 10 pin for a win. Well done. As soon as he let it go. No problem. And a nice finish here by Zach Wynn. 212 game. Backs up a 200 game with 212. .224 for Brady Barlow. Improves by 34 pins over his first game. Muller splits.
And any hope there, he could have struck out and at least forced a mark. That went away.
Look at this game. Xander Ho is on pace for a 280. And a 4-bagger here. Patrick Taylor just bowling like a championship team here. Logan Wynn getting that done.
So Muller will finish with 178.
He got it. Terrific game being bowled here.
And
comes back and takes a sip. Yeah, you can get a little fluid here. Beckham Lou. Remember, he shot 171 the first game, Lenny. He's going to exceed that by over 100 pins here in game 2.
Mm-hmm. You're looking at...
And a little wide. She laughs about it. Big round of applause.
So spare would be 268. Patrick Taylor is going to have a 13-3 lead, and they're going to be up by over 400 pins.
Yeah, it's
I did not see this coming. I thought obviously you look at average and you say Patrick Taylor's got the depth. Not only do they have the higher average, but they've got the advantages on the low side as well. But I thought, knowing these two teams, this would be a highly competitive match. I did not see this coming.
242 game. Logan win as they just shot lights out this game.
641 on the low side, 714 on the high side, 1355 for Patrick Taylor. And look, at this point, 13-3.
13-3.
In a 400-pin lead, this is, it's
over.
basically over.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we want you to keep watching.
Please,
clearly,
don't go anywhere because we've still got Division I coming up.
We're also going to tell you the truth about the scenario, understanding the point system here. And what that means is this. 14 points wins for you, and Patrick Taylor's at 13 through 2 games, and they've got over a 400-pin lead. Total pins for the entire match gets you 3 points. So they're virtually assured of those 3 points, which, of course, would be the margin needed for the victory. So a lot of things being discussed here about who's going to bowl the third game for both sides. Still to come, our Division I championship, pitting defending champion Brother Martin against Archbishop Rummel.
We'll see if we can. I'm going to hop off for 1 second here because I got a feeling there will be some lineup changes. Make sure they get all these things squared away, and let's see what we've got coming into the final game. Yeah. And look, you think, okay, you want to get some seniors in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of seniors on the bench for sure. There's not a lot of, we saw it yesterday. We saw St. Amant go to all of their seniors in the last game. You're not going to see that necessarily here. In fact, Beckham Lou and Zach Wynn in the starting lineup are the only seniors. Now, look, both these schools have, JV teams and stuff. They've got deep programs, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And Patrick Taylor, the way they're set up with with kids being able to bowl in 7th grade because they're not just a 9 through 12 school like some of the other schools, and how good these young men and young ladies are now at an early age. They've got a chance to really develop, dare I say, dynasty, because again, they're still 30 minutes away here, one game away from winning what would be their first ever state championship. But they are poised to be in position to be a very, very good program for a long time to come.
I think that's an accurate statement. That gives you some perspective on what's happening thus far. Again, the margin over 400 pins for Patrick Taylor through 2 games. And the Tigers have a commanding 13-3 lead over the Archbishop Shaw Eagles, trying to deny Shaw a 3rd consecutive state championship in Division II. Ken Trahan with you, Lenny Van Gilder. Big shout out to our friends Matt and Todd for a job well done here today. As always, could not do it without them. Big shout out to Jeff Schneider, Steve Schneider at LHSAA Network. And a big thanks as well, and shout out to Eddie Bonine, Executive Director of the LHSAA, Ethan Anderson, who handles media relations for the LHSAA here today, helping run this event. Great to have him here. He does a great job. We're deeply appreciative. Mike Federico as well. Great to see Mike here. And we could not do this without the cooperation of all of these individuals and these entities because they make it possible for us. We're very blessed to have the opportunity, and because of them, we are here, and because of them, we're able to bring this to you. So we're very grateful for each and every one of those individuals. Again, thanks to Eddie Bonon, Ethan Anderson, Mike Federico, and the entire crew that helped make this possible from the LHSAA perspective. Big thank you to entrusting us with these duties. And once again, thanks to LHSAA Network and the Schneiders for their support. As we wrap up Game 2 and await the beginning of Game 3, we'll have changes in the lineups for each team.
Yeah, well, actually, it looks like Patrick Taylor is going to stay the same in Game 3. Shaw is going to the bench. Ryan Wynn and Dylan Leday are going to go in. So it'll be Wynn, Leday, and Tran on the left side.
Okay, Wynn, Leday, and Tran on the left side for Shaw. So he'll make some changes going into Game number 3. Experience of a lifetime in some cases. Opportunity to get to bowl in a state championship. No different than any other sport, having an opportunity to participate, in particular if you're not a regular. And you will remember this the rest of your life. So Game 3 getting set to begin. Ken Trahan, Lenny Van Gilder with you from Premier Lanes in Gonzales. Louisiana. We're set to get it started in game 3. Waiting for the all clear to get rolling. Logan Canet wants to start right away. So does Jonathan Klutz. Klutz opens up the third game for Shaw in lane 26 with a 10-pin. Canet through the nose. And an 8 count here.
So, yeah, that's
Peyton Hosch.
Right, that's
7-pin.
Ryan Wynn in the leadoff spot. They got to wear matching jerseys if something happened to his jersey, so he is wearing Coach Vidros' jersey. There you go. Whatever you got to do. Right?
There you go. You look like a coach there covering the spare. Way to go. And if this the name Vidros, you know it's got to be good. Great bowling family.
No doubt. First family of bowling coaches, I guess, in Louisiana. With Denise and Gerald have done now. That their sons bowl for them. Now both coaching. Scott at Belchase, Mark at Fisher.
Amazing.
With one of the things that happens in all sports, right? In Louisiana high school athletics, for the season, you get jamborees, you get scrimmages and things like that. They have the Vidros Jamboree before the season started. I guess they all have fun. Maybe they had the Moe's afterwards to celebrate. I'm not sure.
Well, look at this. Blow out the 7-10. That's when you have superior roll entering the 1-3 pocket. Ball driving through. Barrelow with a spare. Wall shot, beautifully done. Execution to perfection. Trust is a must.
And look, the totals that you're seeing don't reflect
very unusual leave on 25.
3-4-7, very unusual. Those totals that you see next to each of the bowlers, that is the total for each spot in the lineup in this match. So it doesn't necessarily apply to this game, but it does give you an idea when you're looking at just the total pin domination down the line. You can see just how Patrick Taylor has dominated this match with that 400 pin edge going to the last.
Canet posts a strike. That's a good spare by Ryan Wynn. Cover that washout. So we're early in game 3. Division II championship. A Brooklyn strike for Klutz. He claps. Thankful. It's a little wide from Zach Wynn, but broke up the split. Feels good about that. The day well over the top of that ball. Blowout 7-pin didn't cover for Brady Barrelow. Good shot, no result. And Lenny, I want to double check this, but I think we're watching history because I want to double check it. But this, I think, may very well be the first state championship for Patrick Taylor
in any sport. I believe
athletic endeavor.
Yeah. Maybe Carl Neely is watching. Carl's, Carl's, the AD of Jefferson Parish.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously got ties to Archbishop Shaw as well. Maybe Carl can hit us up and let us know that. But I'm pretty sure that is the case, that they have not won a state championship in any sport.
That's right. I might be doing some texting here, so we're going to try to find out and make sure be accurate with this. Clearly would be a big part of the story if that's the case.
No question about it. Look, this is one of those things that is not a. This isn't a surprise. Maybe the margin is a surprise. What we're seeing right now, this is not a surprise to see Patrick Taylor poised to win a state championship. And like I said, with the youth that they have, there's a lot of these young men, the young ladies we saw yesterday. They compete in other tournaments. There's a big one this weekend going on in Alexandria, what used to be called the the Pepsi championships. Pepsi's not sponsoring anymore. It's basically the USBC state championships is what it is now. And earlier this year, Stuart Moss, the general manager here at Premier, who does a fabulous job as a host of this facility. Stuart runs the Grand Prix program in Louisiana and hosts the Grand Prix tournament every year. And it's all age division done. And in the U14 brackets, he had 16 finalists. 6 of them, boys and girls, were from Patrick Taylor. So you're talking about 7th and 8th graders from Patrick Taylor. 6 of the 16. That just gives you an idea. Yeah, gives you an idea how poised they are to be, like, not just what we're seeing here on the boys' side. Look, they've got an outstanding girls program as well. And, they were the number 5 seed this year. Caught one of those draws that we've talked about in the bracket. They had to face St. Joseph's Academy in the second round, or else they very well might have been here, boys and girls in Gonzales this year. They were 2 years ago. The boys and the girls both got here, and they both got beat in the semifinals. Tran now in the 3 spot as Shaw shuffled the lineup, put a couple of subs in there, and he's got 3 in a row to start this game. He has been, I think it's safe to say, Shaw's best bowler this afternoon.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's gotten the best ball reaction. Part of that is because of his speed. He's able to get in on the lane a bit and doesn't throw the ball hard, so he's able to get the back-end reaction that we haven't seen in the case of some of the other Shaw bowlers who throw the ball a little bit harder. Speed control is huge. Consistency and speed is huge. Interesting story we'll get to with Division I about a perfect game earlier today where you discovered, you were told by the young man that he threw the ball harder on the last shot.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think that's one of those things too. When you're on a string of strikes, or with anything when you need, when you've got things going, you need to make a shot. Sometimes you have a tendency. A couple of things you have a tendency to do. One is maybe throw it harder. One is maybe to miss your target to the pull side a little bit. Okay, it's a natural thing to do. And sometimes you do them both, and they kind of offset themselves.
So Patrick Taylor won the cross-country state championship in 2013.
So it will not be the first, but the first in 13 years. And look, this is a growing program in a lot of sports.
So that'll be part of our story. Second in school history, first in this sport, and the first in 13 years. Nice cover by Connett.
No matter what happened here today, we knew that the D2 championship was returning to the West Bank.
It was.
Shaw's won the first 2 since we split into D1 and D2. And Shaw had one. Look, what Denise Vidros and her husband Gerald did to help launch high school bowling in New Orleans. Okay, they deserve a lot of credit for that. They were really the first good high school bowling program in the New Orleans area. Won a state championship back in 2009 when it was, of course, still one division. Got to the finals and lost. Talk about a bad beat. They got to the finals, lost to Barb in 2010. And we saw that 300 early. They had a 300 shot at them in that championship match by James Smithers of Barb. There's not been a 300 in the championship match since. It was, we had a little flirtation with that earlier with the front 8 from Xander Tran.
We're just to another strike as we speak. The Tigers not letting up here. Open like champions and closing like champions, the way this is unfolding.
No doubt.
Now we get Logan Wynn, who's on a 3-bagger himself to get things started.
You get a couple of turkeys working in the number 3 spot. Good match going.
Good release. And a good result. 4-bagger.
If the 6 wasn't taking it out, the messenger was coming.
I almost looked like an E.J. Tackett reaction on the back end, man.
Right.
Pins flying everywhere. If something's still standing, don't worry, it'll go eventually. Although he hasn't won yet this year, right? He's made 5 of the 7 televised finals, I believe it is. And he missed the cut yesterday, so it's It's
a bit of a surprise, but look, he's human, okay?
It's an amazing game to watch. He's one of the few one-handers that's that dominant. He's the best bowler in the world, hands down.
You know, look how good he is. One of the things he did last week, okay, he was 10th with 2 games to go. Shot 288, 280 to jump from 10th to 5th in a very high-scoring tournament. So, I mean, not just are you having to bowl big scores, but you've got to bowl big scores and hope the other people in front of you don't do the same because the scores are out of sight. They were over 3,300s in that tournament last week.
Morgan Canet strikes, and yet another strike for Patrick Taylor in the 4 spot. Goodness gracious. I mean, just Peyton Ho drills it, and they just won't let up. It's fun to watch, though. I mean, this is
doubt.
Great bowling by the Tigers. Clutch uses the backup ball and got it. Nicely done. 3-6-9-10 conversion. 7-pin for Zach Wynn. No real drama or mystery in this one. Both sides know it. And you can see the reaction of both, even some smiles on the Shaw faces because they know.
Well, look.
When you get beat, you get beat.
And they have been here, you know. Obviously, this is a program that has, even before the split into 2 divisions, okay? They were a semifinalist in 2022. Could have very well been here 2023 as well. Just certainly were good enough to be there. They were a high seed and just and caught an upset in the early rounds on another team's home lanes, and then obviously champions in 24, champions in 25, here in the finals in 26. This is a solid program that while you would think here future should be bright because your top 4 are all back. You got the Barrelou brothers together for another year. Cody at number 6 is just a freshman. Yeah. Yep. This is reminiscent maybe of what they were starting to do, 4 or 5 years ago when you had, you had Jonathan Arena and you had, some of those other guys in there. They were a loaded right side, when they were young. So they've got a chance to, certainly for one more year keep this together as they just have one senior in their lineup in Eric.
So what you're saying is it would be really hard to beat either one of these programs again next year.
Look, would it, depending on how the draw faces off, would I be shocked if it's these 2 teams right back here at this time next year? Not at all.
Nope. Looking at the classification, the quality of bowler, no surprise whatsoever if that occurs.
Right. Now, Patrick Taylor has 2 seniors in their lineup. Beckham Lou at 6, Zach Wynn at 1, but the depth, and both of these programs have a lot of depth. One of the things that's kind of developed in high school bowling, particularly in the New Orleans and Baton Rouge regions, are JV programs, just to give more young men, young ladies an opportunity to bowl. And it's certainly certainly had a good impact on the game. It's like anything else. You got to get reps, right? It's like a couple of months we'll be talking about the Crescent City Sports Prep Summer League. That's all about at bats, innings in the field, innings pitched, getting a chance to play, getting games in competition in this format because it's a little unique. Wynn just missing the 7-pin there. As we kind of set the stage on where we are here at the halfway point of this match, as we normally do, Ken, it looks like obviously we're on the precipice of a Patrick Taylor coronation, but in terms of this game, the Tigers leading at 1 at 2, a slight lead at 3. It's a tight match at 4. It is Patrick Taylor up at 5 and a tight match at 6 right now.
And the strike, Antoine Tran has had a really good afternoon. He's bowling extremely well for Archbishop Shaw. Double wood spear, tough to cover always.
could actually be close to on time for match number 2. Normally it's not been the case,
see.
but one thing, yeah, we did. Practice balls got started here before the other matches were finished on the other side, which I think helped help move things along a little bit. We were able to start this match on time.
Still haven't heard your announcement to get it started, though. Maybe you will for the final of the evening. Bowlers, it's practice time.
There was only one goose.
That's right. Although PBA rules prohibit the use of flash cameras and the signing of autographs during the competition, the players do appreciate your enthusiasm. So let's send them off with a big round of applause.
Yeah, but no choreographed cheer. Just cheer. Just cheer.
No choreographed
cheer for a
cheers.
shot. Just
That's
cheer
right.
for a shot and stop cheering.
Not going to go there.
No.
But look, the excitement level, you don't want to take that away from the kids. You don't want to take it away from the fans. But yes, there is some level of decorum.
Well, exactly.
Because of the nature of the sport. You got guys
going up and throwing another shot. Yeah.
That's right. So it's a little bit of a trick bag in that regard because it's not one-on-one. It's not like a match play PBA
where you're one shot at a time.
One shot at a time. Different animal.
Yeah, this is 4 lanes, but you could have 2 bowlers up on the lane at a time. One on each pair.
A lot different animal. Antoine Trent, who's had a really good afternoon, comes up high here.
Yep.
Peyton Ho's had a really good day. And that continues. Consistent in the 200s. Antoine Trent converts. He maintains a slight lead in his match at number 3. Again, there's no illusion here. Patrick Taylor's going to be a state champion here soon in the next 10 minutes or so.
Yep.
We're still monitoring and watching to see some of these kids bowl and how well they can score in this game.
Xander Tran, that one surprised him a little bit, crossed over. Left only the 10-pin.
Starting to get the ball reaction now.
Yeah, you're starting to get a
3.
little bit. Yeah, you get the transition when you get to this 3rd game. Again, there's 3 games. Yeah, it's 3-6 now. We're probably about 8 games have been bowled on these lanes, plus practice balls. Yeah, it's gonna. You're certainly going to start seeing the transition. You always, you tell bowlers, you always like, especially at this point, you always want to stay a step ahead. Know what's coming.
Good shot by Barlow.
And especially, look, with the volume of 2-handers that we have out here, the oil is going to move around even more. So there's that to consider as well. We'll see that again in the second match. Rummel is almost all 2-handers, the exception of Drew McDonald. You've got, Brother Martin's got 2 or 3, depending on what lineup they put out there.
Reach the 8th frame on the low pair. Closing out the 7th frame, now starting the 8th frame on the high pair. So drawing toward a conclusion here. Lenny will talk to winners when this one is over.
Brittany Walls has done a great job building this Patrick Taylor program. This is not something that happened overnight.
Nope.
Obviously, you don't do this overnight. There is no transfer portal in high school athletics, right? Nope. It's build it over time, continuing to get better year after year after year. It will culminate here this afternoon in the school's first state bowling championship. And you look at it, like I said, this has got a chance to be the first of many. You still got to go out and do it. But this has a chance to be the first of many. Let's also, you want to tip hats, people. Look, what's happened at Episcopal this year, that is a program. They were the number 1 seed in this bracket, okay? They went undefeated. That is a first-year program under Greg Snake,
Terrific.
who was coaching wide receivers in football and went to a new athletic director and said, hey, I'd like to start a bowling program here. And Greg is one of the outstanding bowlers in Louisiana and has been for a very long time. And put that together and in 1 year had his team undefeated, number 1 seed, got here to the semifinals. They lost to Patrick Taylor. And also, congrats to Houma Christian for getting to the semifinals as well for the first time.
Great to see that representation. The one thing we are assured of is that for a second straight year, we're going to have all New Orleans area champions.
Well, let's see what happens. We know that on the team side. Last year was really special in that we had every state champion, including both singles winners, come from the New Orleans area. Now, we will have new singles winners this year because both of those were seniors. Jonathan Cho, who I saw earlier watching from Jesuit, but he's up here checking out the action.
Yep.
Saw Elizabeth Hamilton from Chappelle yesterday, watching her alma mater go
That's right.
back-to-back. She's in school at LSU right now. Jonathan is bowling collegiately up in Indiana.
Outstanding bowlers. Both of them were terrific.
Yep. Speaking of singles champions, I saw Jonathan Arena off to the side a little while ago. He came over and said hello. I still say it. I told him I was going to talk about this at some point. Still the best match we have ever seen in this state championship was that 287 to 280 match between Jonathan Arena and Preston West back in 2023 for the state championship.
That was simply awesome.
Yeah, well, I think we saw 20 consecutive strikes at one point in that match. It was just crazy.
Saw another former state champion who needed to throw a strike in the 10th frame in Baton Rouge a few years ago to win a state championship.
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that one pretty well. Saw that young man here yesterday.
Yeah, and he's around here somewhere today. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about very much, but
there's a lot of great memories.
No doubt.
A lot of great bowlers.
But one of the interesting storylines in this upcoming match, obviously, you got two teams who have been among the best in the New Orleans area for a long time, and a rematch from a regular season match. But before Brother Martin went on its great run of state championships, Rummel won back-to-back titles in 2012 and 2013 and really kind of set the stage for what has been you want to call it a New Orleans area renaissance, dominance, whatever it is, in terms of what has happened here over the last 12, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Those were some great teams. Of course, Charles Noble, inducted into the Archbishop Rummel Hall of Fame.
First bowler in that Hall of Fame. Yeah, some bowlers are getting some credit now.
Yeah, deservedly so. This is a sport. Look, this is a sport now. As Rick Bourgeois says, it was started as a pilot back about 2000, and he's been with it from the start. But the first championships were crowned in 2005.
Yeah.
And since then, I mean, early on, this was a sport that was really dominated maybe by Baton Rouge, Lafayette. And then
it was.
Since then, New Orleans has been.
And they bowled the state championships in Lafayette for quite some time.
They bowled them in Lafayette. They bowled them in Baton Rouge. Some of the other centers here. Now, look, we've been here. I guess we were going to bowl here in 2020 before COVID hit. And in 21, we were here. 22 back at Baton Rouge. Just the fourth straight years, and 5 out of 6 that we've been here in this, in this setting, in the VIP area with a great, like I said, great setup for this to be able to happen. And really creates almost what you would call a stadium-like atmosphere, not unlike what you might see at a PBA event.
Right.
And it's terrific to have this kind of setting, for these young men and the young ladies yesterday to be able to compete for a state team championship. Now, you need lanes tomorrow. You're bringing 128 bowlers to one site, so as a result, we're at All-Star in Baton Rouge, and we'll have those finals for you as well. 1:30 airtime for the modified stepladder, both the boys and the girls, right here on Crescent City Sports.
And you'll be joined by our friend Kent.
Kent Lowe will be back with me tomorrow. Kent would have loved to have been here today, but Kent had another assignment call. One of his one of his former students at LSU will be getting married, and he's a part of the wedding. So he is on assignment headed down to our neck of the woods in New Orleans. So we close things out here on both pairs of lanes, actually. Patrick Taylor is going to win at 1, at 2. Tight one going at 3 right now, as you see, although Shaw's got a lead there. Shaw with a lead at 4. Pat Taylor with a lead at 5 and at 6. A good finish here for Zach Wynn, looking to close out a 2:27. And he'll go wide with a 3.679. It'll be 2:23. So Wynn, who's traditionally in the number 1 spot, slid down to number 2 when the one substitute was made, shoots 200, 212, 223. Nothing wrong with that out of your one side. Another tip of the hat to Antoine.
He did a great job today.
He's got a chance to strike for 232. That's not over yet, though, because Andrew Lee can get up and strike out for 233. Four pin, and it is a now best possible 213. So what's been a tough day for Shaw? Antoine Tran certainly did his job. He's going to go 3-0.
Yeah, he was the real bright spot for the Eagles here today, and there's no shame in this loss for Shaw. What a tremendous program. Just a better team. Patrick Taylor's been fantastic. But they've been this good all season long. And even though Shaw won the regular season matchup,
exactly.
Patrick Taylor, their averages, their scores have been the highest.
Right. They had 2 regular season losses, did Patrick Taylor. One to Shaw
and one to Brother Martin.
One to Brother Martin. Yeah. And that's those types of matches get you ready for this kind of situation.
Yeah.
You bowl Shaw, you bowl Bell Chase, you cross over to Division I, you bowl Brother Martin, you bowl Holy Cross.
All over, but the shouting is.
Yeah, we just got to wait for the final score here.
Messenger doesn't get the 10 pin for Baraloo.
So Patrick Taylor winning 2 of 3 on the left-hand pair in this game. Shaw is going to win at 4, but assuming Xander Tran can stay behind the foul line here and get 5, Patrick Taylor's going to win at 5, and they've basically got things wrapped up at 6 already.
What a shot by Tran. 217 games, so what a series he bowls.
703.
703. So
it's possible. I think it's either Xander Tran or Beckham Lou was outstanding in the semifinals. He was MVP, 680. Sure. And obviously, Lou with that big second game is going to finish with another big game here, and the senior as well. So it's that certainly plays a part.
Yeah, either Tran or Lou. Take your pick. Can't go wrong.
No doubt. Lou's going to get a chance to strike out for 244.
Barlow spares, so he shoots 181 to finish this off for Archbishop Shaw. So 181 game. And now we get Beckham Lou. They're laughing. Everybody it's easy does it for both sides at this point. And he carries. Both sides clapping. Great sportsmanship.
Yeah, well, look, these are all young men. Probably on Saturday they're going to be back in leagues bowling with each other against each other at West Side Lanes.
Second shot. Lost his balance a little bit.
And still carried. That's when it's your day, Ken.
That's when you know what's happening, buddy. Can't go wrong, right? That's good stuff.
Chance to strike out here for what would be second consecutive 680 series.
Yep.
That was with a 171 first game, but he's going to finish up with over 500 for the last two.
And throws a backup ball.
Why not, huh?
He just said, why not? He
Why
wasn't
not?
worried about numbers. What a close. What a performance by the Patrick Taylor Tigers. The Division II LHSAA state champion. And what a way to end it. They were simply that team here this evening. A brilliant performance by a brilliant team. They earned every ounce of it here this afternoon, and they got it done. And today's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Lincoln is the only Lincoln Black Label dealership in the market. It's more than ownership. It's membership. Must be a reason. Thanks to Ronnie Lamarck and the Lamarck family dealerships who support high school sports in tremendous fashion. We could not do it without the likes of Lamarck Motor Company and their support.
All right.
Just a brilliant performance here this afternoon.
All right, ladies and
Now we're
gentlemen.
listening for Rick Bourgeois.
Listen, what we're getting ready, we want to do, we want to go ahead to our first presentation. And parents, you will be able to go out after about 5 or 10 minutes. Everybody will go to lane 17 and 20. You can do all your celebrating and picture taking and all that. But what we want to do first, we want to go ahead and present our MVP for today's competition. I don't know where this one game came in, but he had a 218, a 255, a 215, a 171, a 268, and a 240. He averaged 227. I know that he's a senior from Patrick Taylor. We have Beckham Lou. Congratulations.
Beckham Lou, all 6 games combined, gets their well-deserved hand. He earned it. Both fantastic here. Parents, families,
All right, now.
supporters enjoying.
One of the hardest things to do in sports, and they call it, I think it's copyrighted by the LA Lakers, was a three-peat, and it didn't happen this year, but congratulations to our runner-ups, Archbishop Shaw. Congratulations.
Big round of applause for the Eagles. Get the runner-up trophy. Coach Denise Vidros, her husband Gerald, who do such a great job with that program consistently, year after year, making it to the finals again this year. Just a brilliant program that continues to be that program. And did a great job to get here. Archbishop Shaw Eagles, state runner-up, Division II, LHSAA.
Another thing that's quite rare is the fact that what we have is we have 3 teams that have been competing against each other. They bowl at the same bowling center, West Side. They're in the same district. Today, of course, we had 2 of those teams. One of them's Belle Chase. Denise's son coaches that team, she's with Archbishop Shaw. But I want to congratulate a new champ, 4A division, Patrick Taylor. Congratulations, everyone. First place.
The Tigers are the champions. First ever in school history in this sport, second ever in the school's history in athletics. Not just a superior academic institution now, an outstanding athletic institution, as is Archbishop Shaw in both instances. So many outstanding schools in Louisiana. These are 2 of those, both located on the West Bank. of New Orleans. Extremely well done. And nothing but congratulations to Patrick Taylor for the win. Let's go to Lenny Van Gelder with the winning coach, Brittany Wells.
A happy head coach here in Brittany Walls. This has been a long time coming. I know you've been at this a while. Just talk about the emotions. Obviously, the way this played out was probably a bit of a surprise, the margin that it was. But, you know, you had a lot of time there in the third game to think about the fact that you were about to be a state champion, I know.
Yeah, it's just exciting. These kids have put in the work. Without my assistant coaches, this wouldn't be happening. Like, it's just incredible.
And, you know, it's, like we said, you've been at this a few years now. You know, you got to the semifinals a couple of years ago. What does it mean for the entire school? I mean, this is a first state championship for Patrick Taylor in any sport, from what we understand, since 2013. So this is not, you know, y'all do a lot of great things over there academically. There's a lot of great things going on. But to bring this gold trophy home, what does that mean for the entire community of Patrick Taylor?
I was getting updates from teachers. They were watching in classrooms, but it just really means a lot for our team to be the one to bring home the championship.
We congratulate you. Go celebrate with your friends and family. Patrick Taylor is a state champion. Ken, back to you.
All right, Lenny, thank you very much. What a great performance by the Tigers of Patrick Taylor as they earned this victory in dramatic fashion. They dominated and clearly were the best team here today in the semifinals and in the finals. The Tigers proved that to be the case as they emerged victorious in convincing fashion here to win the Division II state championship. Lenny, you could have picked 2, maybe even 3 bowlers for Patrick Taylor. As good as they bowled as MVPs. Good to see a senior get that award. Right. But again, this was just a masterful performance by a terrific squad in Patrick Taylor.
This is the deepest team in Louisiana, as we talked about, and they showed that depth and that kind of performance here. Really, you know, throughout the postseason, but especially here, it really stepped up in the championship match.
Indeed. It's been a pleasure, my friend. Hope you enjoyed this one.
We get to do it again in a few minutes.
Why don't we just do that? So once again, Patrick Taylor wins a state championship here in Division II. Thanks for joining us, and stay with Crescent City Sports, because coming up next, it's the Division I boys co-ed final for our Crescent City Sports production team. And for Lenny Van Gelder, I'm Ken Trahan saying so long for just a moment from Gonzales, where the Patrick Taylor Tigers are the 2026 LHSA Boys Co-Ed Division II state champion. Thanks for joining us. Be a good sport. God bless you one and all for just a minute or two. So long.